Welcome back to the Your Health television program hosted by the Monterey County Health Department. I'm Emily Sciolto, your host today, and just about every third Monday of each month. Here now to wrap up our discussion of the Agricultural Field Toilet Inspection Program is Ms. Susan Bravo, Environmental Health Specialist 2 at the Monterey County Environmental Health Bureau. Welcome, Susan, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So, Susan, I understand you do a majority of the field toilet inspections. Is that true?
No, it's not true. It seems that I do, but I do my share. We're a total of 12 inspectors. There's 10 field inspectors, and there's 2 supervisors that greatly help going out to, like Susan mentioned, at 4 in the morning, rain or shine, throughout the county from Casterville Boulevard to Aromas. We're pretty much everywhere, Prunedale, Casterville, Salinas, and inspecting the field toilets.
Okay, so there's really a whole team of you guys.
Yes.
It's 8,000 toilets.
Yes, and it's annually on calendar year, so we usually inspect them, like I said, 4 in the morning to the latest. I remember when about 2 years ago, the latest was at 7 p.m. We're out there, and this was in Soledad.
Because you have to wait until the toilets come back from the field.
Yes.
Okay. So how often do you inspect? First of all, you said annually. Yes. But I also noticed on this sheet, on your inspection sheet, there's a routine and there's a complaint box. Yes.
Like Susan mentioned, there's 22 issues that we look at in a toilet. And there's some are in red font that illustrate their critical violations, and they have to be corrected on the spot. Say they don't have hand soap or paper towels and they have field workers out in the field, then they have to provide that as soon as possible while we're there, so they're able to wash their hands and dry them appropriately.
And just to give folks an idea, we're looking again at the field toilet inspection form. This is what the inspectors use, and the red you can see there denoted in red font are the critical violations. So talk to us about this.
Okay.
Tell us what you're looking at. Tell us what you do when you go out there.
Okay, approaching the toilet, we look at the structural, any missing holes, missing screens. So we go down the list on the inspection report, because a lot of the times we don't know everything off the top of our heads, so we follow the inspection report. And if the toilet is properly labeled with the company's name, as you can see out of this one, it doesn't provide it usually on the front, along next to the sticker. We look at making sure they have paper towels and soap, and to have sufficient soap. So if they have a little bit, we want to make sure they restock, because they're going to be out there for about more than 8 hours or so. So they want to practice good hygiene, because the 10 most dangerous utensils in a food production are our fingers, our hands. So we want to look at it that way and make sure that they have that, because they're going to go back and handle the food crops. We look at making sure they're properly vented, because when there's no ventilation, odor is going to build up, and sometimes that odor isn't pleasant. So to have proper screens, and so in addition to the screens is not only to let the air out, but to prevent any insects or vermin from coming in and getting attracted to the whatever is inside that toilet. We also look at making sure the door, you can't really see here, but making sure it properly secures, so if it's during transportation, it doesn't leave anything out of the toilet, so everything's confined during transportation, and they can have their own privacy to have that little lock. A self-spring on the door, so when the door, that person leaves, that door self-closes, so nothing comes out or comes in if somebody's there or not. The waste, for the hand washing, we want to make sure that the wastewater isn't going onto the ground or anything into the agricultural fields, so it has to be going into a collecting tank, so there's no leakage or any spills.
And that tank is right between the two toilets, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And usually it has a capacity of 40 gallons of water for the waste. So they have enough, no spillage or anything. Regarding what you guys mentioned, having the toilet paper, making sure that they have it in the toilet itself, because that's a critical violation and they have to correct it on the spot. Structural issues like, say, the missing spring, that is given 5 days for compliance.
Okay. And that is one of are all of the items listed on this inspection report, if one of them is not there, is that considered to be a violation, one of the violations that Susan was mentioning earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
There's several, and like I mentioned, toilet facilities have a minimum area of square footage and a minimum width of 2.5 feet, making sure that they're able to get in there and do their duties. The wastewater tank is durable and easy and cleanable. Anything in red, such as toilet paper, is provided in a suitable holder for each toilet, making sure it's not being contaminated, since there's single service use. To provide soap and towels and hand washing, that's a critical violation. A non-critical would be signs are posted indicating that the water is only for hand washing. So if it's faded, then it's an issue, but it's something that they have sufficient time to correct. And we have a sign.
Here is that sign. And the sign is saying all employees must wash their hands.
Yes. From 10 to 15 seconds, scrubbing with hand soap and water, warm water. And then potable drinking water is provided and readily accessible to all employees. So, and they're usually these yellow igloo with a spigot, so making sure that they're able to see it when they're approaching it, and they know where the water is in case they get really thirsty on hot days. And then that their water is fresh, pure, cool, and there's sufficient amounts.
Okay. And so all these things are on the inspection form. I notice here also there's a dollar amount. Reinspection fee will be charged when violations noted during inspections are not corrected. First off, how much does it cost?
For each toilet, there's different. From 1 to 5 toilets, it's $130 permit for the year.
Okay.
And then there's a base fee from 6 to 19 toilets, which is also $130 for the year. And then 6 to 19 toilets plus with the fee charge is $75. Then 20 to 50 toilets, it's $2,736 a year. And then 50 plus toilets or more, it's $3,420.
So it looks like the more toilets you have, obviously the
fee, yes.
Okay. And then there's a fee also for a reinspection if there's violations that were not corrected.
Yeah, were not corrected. That would be a minimum hourly fee of $130.
Okay. So how do folks feel about these fees? Is it...
Well, most of the time they can't complain because they have everything in compliance, and if they're non-critical, they have 5 days. Within those 5 working days, they have addressed and abated the violation.
And most people are okay, most farmers are okay, or owners of agricultural toilets are okay with the fees. They don't seem, it seems like a small price to pay for preventing,
yes,
for, really treating the field worker as they should be treated and, preventing illness.
Yes, not that I'm aware of any complaints, but so far so good.
So do you get any feedback when you're going into the fields to inspect the toilets, either from workers or from farmers or farm owners?
Definitely great feedback, because we're educating, and education is key to the prevention of illnesses and spread of bacteria, since, like I mentioned before, the 10 most dangerous utensils are our fingers, our hands.
I like that. I've never heard that before. So these fees constitute the cost of a permit of a sticker per year.
Yes.
And you said currently there's how many certified toilets in Monterey County?
There's about 8,000, and we've inspected so far 6,000.
This year in 2012?
since the program started.
Oh, okay, so this is a total number of toilets you've inspected. Okay. And what else about the hand washing stations right there? That is there a place to throw away the paper towel? I was just noticing.
Yeah, they do, and it's usually located next to the hitch, and it's usually a gray big bin, and they've actually have put the lid, and they've actually put a hole in the lid to make it easier to dispose of, so nothing can fly, or they don't have to lift the lid, and sometimes the paper towel doesn't make it inside, so that hole makes it easier.
Okay, so they don't have to touch the trash can at all, lid. And then the trash definitely goes inside there.
And to avoid cross-contamination as well.
So let's talk about anything interesting, really interesting you've seen as an inspector. Anything you want to divulge for our audience? Really good, really bad.
Yeah, and with this program being implemented, when we're out in the field, there are scheduled inspections. Sometimes they're unannounced, and we're out there just to reassure that they have paper towels and soap and sufficient water to wash their hands and drink. So sometimes we do note that while they're in operation, they might be missing paper towels, or the paper towels are damaged where they're not able to wash their hands with a clean towel. So I've seen missing springs, that the doors are not self-closing, so they're like almost falling apart, and they have no privacy where they, there's a little gap. So it's mostly structural, but the majority of the violations I've seen have been non-critical. So they have, like I said, 5 business days to correct it.
And most people do?
Yes.
Okay. And so what else do you look for, especially in regards to the drinking water?
Drinking water.
Do you ever test that water, or?
No, we don't test that water specifically for the when it's out in the field, but we want to make sure that it's fresh and clean, and that the igloo inside is not forming any algae or anything like that. That the water is coming in contact, and workers are drinking that water. So.
And then, how often would you say that you personally go out to do inspections for field toilets?
Usually, it's been a couple of months, but usually we start to inspect them at the beginning of the year when everybody's around, depending on the season. So it's good working in pairs, so you always have a partner. Somebody does the actual documentation and writing of the inspection report, while the other one makes sure that the button provides sufficient running cold water. So we're out there, if a operator or a business owner calls in at the office and they need their toilets to be inspected, the next day we'll clear our schedules and go out there and inspect the toilets. Short, last minute, 24-hour notice. Okay,
so I'm just trying to get an idea of how much time this takes, to do this.
Yeah, it varies. Some, like Susan mentioned, some are at the yard and we're able to inspect, the majority of them, but some are out in the field while they're doing, harvesting. So it can take us 10 minutes to more than an hour, depending on the location of the toilet and the accessibility.
Okay. And then from the fees that you collect, it seems like that's enough to keep the program sustainable and continuing, correct?
So far at this time, yes.
Okay.
And I'm aware of. Yes.
And there's another sheet here that you have. This is a facility certification of return. What is this? Return to compliance?
Compliance. Yes, and that's a form where it has to do with the non-critical violations. Sometimes we're not able to follow up based on their location or accessibility or the agenda of the operator. So we'll have the foreman or the main person do an inspection, a follow-up inspection of that critical violation we noted, that they had addressed it, they sign off, and they conducted the follow-up for us.
Okay, and what happens if there is no toilet available, no hand washing facility? Have you encountered that, or everyone has gotten the message?
Yeah, every inspection I've been conducting, they have provided the toilets with sufficient supplies and accessibility for the workers.
So it sounds like I'm fishing for more interesting stories of non-compliance when it just isn't happening.
Yeah, no, they're compliant, and we're out there usually in and out when they have everything addressed and in compliance regarding paper towels, hand soap, the cups for the water, their drinking water, signs, making sure people remind themselves the importance of hand washing and how long it should take. There's specific signs for hand washing, for drinking, wastewater, potable water. So reminders, these signs are everywhere to remind employees about the importance of hand washing. And
so there's one final question that I've got to ask, and that really is, do you think in your, from your experience, that this program has definitely made an impact and a contribution?
Definitely. Like I said, I do inspections every year, every day, and a reminder, education is key to practicing hand washing every day. It's only 10 to 15 seconds out of the time. Hand soap and paper towels, just a fresh reminder, because humans are the spread of a disease. So in order to prevent that and control that, hand washing and signs, reminders every second is key to the prevention of disease.
Susan, thank you so much. I think that's about all the time we'll have today, and it was so nice to talk to you, and this program is so critical, and it's really creative, and it's great to talk to you and get that motivation from you, because you believe what you're doing. You know what I mean? You believe in it. You believe in the program.
Yes.
Same with Susan Raimondo that we had earlier. And I want to remind viewers that for additional information and resources on the agricultural field toilet inspection program, and to obtain the toolkit that we mentioned, as well as the report from the Monterey County Health Department that we discussed as well, it's available on the Monterey County Environmental Health Bureau website under Consumer Health Protection Services, and that is www.mtyhd.org/EH. Again, that's www.mtyhd.org/EH. And Susan, again, I'd like to thank you for being on the program today with us, and a big thanks again to Susan Raimondo, our previous guest. I'm Emily Sciolto from the Monterey County Health Department, and I've been your host today of the Your Health television program. Please stay tuned for Your Town television program coming up next.